Here are 10 of the best kept secrets that the airlines don't want you to know. Number 10. Electronics. You get on a plane and immediately start watching a video you've downloaded to your device. Then, as you're about to take off, the crew tells you that you have to turn it off. You're not using Wi-Fi or mobile data. Surely there's no problem. Surely you're not going to make the plane crash. Well, you're right, but don't call me Shirley. Turning off your electronic device makes no difference at all to the line between the pilot and air traffic control. Airlines prefer that you turn your devices off so that you can pay attention to the safety messages. But that's it. In fact, data shows that over half of all mobiles are actually left on during takeoff and landing. People either ignore the crew's order, naughty naughty, or they just put it in their bag and forget about it. Number 9. Sneaky airline business tactics. Flying millions of people around the world is big business, and airlines do everything they can to maximize their profits, often at our expense. That bit when they come around with the Sky Mall trolley filled with spirits and perfume, do you think you're getting a bargain because you're in the sky, away from a country's taxes? I'm sorry to say that you aren't. Everything on that trolley can be purchased on the internet at a cheaper price. Also, this one's rather sneaky. Since airlines have to pay fines when their flights run late, they are known to tell us that a flight will actually take longer than it should. That gives them a window of opportunity should anything cause them to run slightly late. A flight from London to Edinburgh normally takes 75 minutes, but the airlines tell us it'll take 85, just in case. Alright, let's do one last one. It's a vicious circle. The more fuel a plane carries, the heavier the plane will be, so it burns more fuel, costing the airline money. To combat this, airlines often put pressure on pilots to carry as little fuel as possible. This sometimes leads to trouble if the pilot burns fuel trying to avoid thunderstorms or is delayed by air traffic control. They might even have to land at an alternative airport so they don't totally run out. Number 8. Pets. Some people like to take their pets on holiday, so they load them into little cages and they go on the plane in the luggage hold. Airlines do their best to take care of pets, but unfortunately for the poor animals, it's not much fun down there. Airports are extremely loud places, and while they're being loaded onto the plane, the pets are subjected to very loud noise. Airport staff, like refuelers, have to wear ear protection when they're down there. Pets don't get that chance. Our advice is, don't take your pets on a plane unless you really, really have to. While we're down in the luggage hold, let's see what else is down there. According to baggage handlers, the majority of domestic flights in the US are carrying human organs on their way to the hospital. There are coffins down there too.
Have you ever felt the overwhelming desire to open an aircraft door mid-flight? No, me neither. But you may have had the worry that someone else would and you'd all be sucked into the sky. Well, fear not, plane doors can't be opened during the flight. They obviously don't tell people this because they don't want people thinking, I want to test that out and see for myself. The reason for this is because they're called plug doors, and the average exit hatch has about 3 to 4 tons of pressure holding it in place. It'd even be impossible for the strongest muscle-bound person ever to move it even slightly. So yeah, you don't need me to tell you that you shouldn't test this theory, unless of course you enjoy being put in chokeholds by angry passengers. Unless you fly in first class or business class drinking oodles of champagne, you don't have to worry about this next one. But if you fly economy class and you're rather tall, you may be aware of the fact there's not much legroom. This is because airlines are focused on cramming as many people as they possibly can onto their plane, and this makes long haul or even short haul flights very uncomfortable. Well, there is a little solution to this, as most airlines have a secret button which can give you extra legroom. The secret hidden button is usually tucked away under the armrests at the very back, and it enables you to position the seats in another direction. Unfortunately, this isn't the intended use of the button. It's not for your comfort, and that's the reason it's kept secret. It's actually used as a safety feature because when the seat is moved up, it gives more room for people to quickly exit their seats in case of emergency. So there you go, no more flying with your knees in your chin or with some kid kicking you in the back. Actually, wait, it unfortunately won't stop annoying kids kicking you in the back. There's no button for that.
Number 5. Happy landings. Ever wondered why, if your plane is landing at night, they dim the lights in the cabin when you're about to land? That's because if the landing goes wrong and they need to evacuate the plane, your eyes are already adjusted to the darkness. You'll be able to see better when you leave the plane instead of blinking and rubbing your eyes. Pilots used to handle landings, but on today's modern planes, the autopilot often does it. Modern airports like London Heathrow have an auto-land system which communicates with the plane's autopilot and totally automates the landing system. This is used in adverse weather such as fog where planes struggle to land. Number 4. Pilot power. When you're on land, you're subject to the laws laid down by your democratically elected leaders, hopefully. But once those plane doors are shut, you're in the pilot's world. He or she is in charge, and the captain of the plane can arrest people, issue fines, and even take the will of a dying passenger. Don't mess with them.
Just imagine you're cruising along at 40,000 feet. You're reading a magazine and then, out of nowhere, the plane engine shuts off. The plane rapidly starts falling from the sky and you get that horrible falling feeling in your stomach and then probably puke on the person in front. Sounds like everyone's worst nightmare, right? Well, fear not, experts have said that situation would probably never occur. It turns out that even if every single one of the plane's engines were to suddenly fail or burst into flames, you'd probably never even notice unless you saw the flames out of the window, then you'd need a new pair of underpants. But no, honestly, if the plane did lose power, it'd just glide. In fact, planes do it all the time when they come into landing, and it's known as flight idle. The reason they don't want you knowing this is that a problem would only occur if your plane is far out to sea. That's when it's time to panic, as it's estimated that a plane can only glide for 2 miles for every 1,000 foot of altitude it is in the sky. So if you're ever on a flight and the engine's packing, in most cases there's no need to worry. There's usually plenty of time to restart the engines and all pilots are highly trained in gliding techniques.
Number 2. When things go wrong. Data shows that things go wrong on flights more than we think. At London Heathrow, they get an emergency landing about once a week, yet if you're a passenger, you may never even know it's happening. Communication between the cockpit and cattle class is strictly on a need-to-know basis. Pilots are very conscious about causing panic and hysteria amongst their passengers. If the worst happens and they need to evacuate the plane, they want everyone thinking as straight as possible. That said, most pilots don't mind a tricky landing. It gives them a chance to show off their skills a bit. When surveyed, many pilots said that their favorite airports to land were Gibraltar, Naples, and Madeira, commonly considered the hardest landings in Europe, often requiring special training before pilots can land there. So next time you're getting off a plane and you see the pilot, compliment their landing. You'll make their day. Number 1. Sleep. Pilots' working rules state that they can be on duty for anything up to 16 hours at a time. That's a long time, much longer than a truck driver, for example, is allowed to drive in one sitting. As a result, it's not uncommon for a pilot to have a quick nap while flying the plane. Research in 2013 showed that over half of pilots had fallen asleep at the controls. Hooray for autopilots, that's all I can say. However, on longer flights, pilots are actually required to have a sleep. There will be a relief crew on board and they will operate the flight while the original crew rests. That ends our top 10 best kept secrets airlines don't want you to know about.